Hi, my name is Flor. I am Dutch, which is why you just thought that's a weird name. And I'm just gonna get straight to it because I'm way too perfectionistic and I've already done this intro a few times and I can't keep doing it. It's not that important. So here we go. What is this video for? I want to find my people and I want my people to be able to find me. Now, there are 1,000 reasons why you can keep telling yourself that you're not quite ready, why you're not quite ready to show yourself, expose yourself. But the truth is that I am never going to be ready. Not really. So this is just my time to come out of hiding, show myself, expose myself, and just be raw and real, which is what more and more people are doing actually, but still it's not the most popular thing to do. So yeah, you can see this video as basically my insanely honest dating profile or pen pal profile or something like that. Really nothing on it. So I guess there's really nothing else to do than just go down the list. I have divided it up into a few little sections, but I'm meaning to go through it pretty quickly. I'm not going to explain everything in detail. I'm not going to justify why I have certain opinions and certain interests. So the way this works is if I say anything that deeply offends you or makes you feel disgusted or just makes you go, ugh, really? You're one of those? Then you click off. And you click off, you go somewhere else and have a great time over there. Because you're not going to have a great time here. That's all there is to it. But if you're one of my people, consider sticking around. So, let's start with the juiciest topic of all, the greatest divide amongst our people at this time. I have some notes here, by the way, so I will shamelessly look at those. And I just have points. There are all these points that I just want to hit. And as long as we do that, we're good. So, my political stance. I just want to reiterate that I am Dutch. I am not American. I might mention some things in this section that are regarding mainly American politics, but I am not American and I also do not live in the United States. So I just want to, just for context, how to break the ice. I like the orange man. You know, the orange guy, president of the United States. Yeah, I like him. I'm not gonna act like there's not way more to that, but if you're already pissed off by me saying that, leave, bye, go have a good life. In this space, there is no room for TDS, thank you very much. So if you suffer from that condition, I wish you a good life elsewhere. Hope you feel better soon. I am awake, not woke. I am against everything transgender and non-binary. There are just men and there are women. End of story. I don't want to hear it. Gays, lesbians, all good. But that whole LGBT plus movement, no. I am fine with different sexualities. Mostly, I mean, people have been getting a little crazy with that. But gender stuff, no. Don't come in here with your delusions. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I'm also firmly against DEI. It's ridiculous and it's not actually about equality as people claim that it is. So there you go. Kind of a different section of the same thing. 2020. Good times. Conflicted feelings about that one. 2020 really did open my eyes. That was really my initial awakening in terms of this kind of stuff. You know, you gotta consider, I had the exact same opinion as everyone else about the orange man. I did. I thought just like anyone else. Maybe especially because I don't live in the United States and I just saw what was on the news. But then 2020 came, and in particular, a very interesting documentary actually made by a Dutch lady called Jeanette Ossebaard. But yeah, no, that shit opened my eyes, and following up, many things opened my eyes. My eyes were opened wide. You know, it was a very illuminating time. I mean, it's not like I call myself this for various reasons, but you can call me a conspiracy theorist. It's true. If I gotta pick between the blue pill versus the red pill, you know I'm gonna pick the red pill. Yes, I am. Q is the shit. Climate change is bullcrap. Mostly bullcrap. SRA is a thing. If you know, you know. MK Ultra, oof, that is a spicy one as well. Yeah, that's also very much a thing. So to wrap up this section, I will just say, follow the money. Symbolism will be their downfall. Enjoy the show, and where we go one, we go all, baby. Oh shit, I almost forgot to mention, I also didn't get jabbed. You know, 2020 onward. They probably jabbed some stuff into me when I was a baby, but you know, that's what you're gonna do about that now. But yeah, no jabs for me. So next topic is spirituality. Woo-woo. Spirituality is not religion. It's just a message that I really want to get across. Of course, religion is inherently spiritual, but spirituality is not inherently religious. Remember that. I believe in reincarnation, the existence of past lives. I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe in star seeds. I am one myself. And no, that's not saying, oh, I'm such a special girl. No, I think most people are star seeds. Most people that are not NPCs are probably gonna be star seeds. Yeah, you thought I was kidding with that whole, I'm an alien. I technically am. And if you're still here, it is getting more and more likely that you are too. Isn't that exciting? I mean, just for a slight bit of context, star seeds, if you're not familiar with it, a star seed means that your soul's origin is not Earth. You came from other places, other dimensions, other densities, and you have lived way more lives and have experienced way more things and have been way more people and in way more bodies and beings than you might think that you have been. And that is all very, very exciting, very cool stuff. I also believe in the existence of spirit guides, spiritual team, healing teams, that kind of stuff, angels or angelic guides. I'm all about dragons, fairies, unicorns. Not very familiar with unicorns and their frequency, but I know they're special. I know they be special, okay? But dragons I love, absolutely. I also consider myself a light worker. I actually don't know if that word fully resonates with me because, you know, there are a lot of people in spiritual communities that are like, oh, you like to love, and I'm like, that's just toxic positivity. And I don't know. No, there's no light without the dark. You know, you gotta go through the dark, deep shit to get to the light. And so, light worker, if it's just referring to me trying to work for the light, trying to work for the divine and all that is good and for humanity. You know, this is a war on consciousness that we're in the middle of. You know, people are so scared about World War III is coming, oh my God. And I'm just like, girl, we're in it. We have been in it. It's the war on consciousness. You know, and as the beautiful quote says, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I'm also into energy healing, kind of like Reiki, that kind of stuff, if you don't know anything about it. But then again, I don't do Reiki anymore. I couldn't really put a name or label on what it is exactly that I do now and how I work with energy, because honestly, it's something that has just integrated into the way that I live my life. It's so much more than just for X amount of minutes that you put your hands on someone or on yourself and then ooh, energy's moving. It's like, no, it's not just then, it's happening all the time. I also like crystals. Actually, I have a really cool crystal. Look at my boy. Look at my boy, he's so pretty dragon. Ooh, it's a tiger-eyed dragon. I got this one very recently. I don't have anything like this, actually. Has a little bit of a gold sheen to it in places. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Yeah, yeah, he's a good boy. I'm also into tarot. Tarot. I actually have a little deck right here, just the usual deck. I'm also very much into astrology. Oh my god, I've been deep in that recently. If you know anything about astrology already, I'm just gonna give you a little insight into my soul. I have a 7-planet stellium in Sagittarius in the 5th house, and I'm a Leo rising. Jazz hands. So yeah, that might tell you something about me. Lots of fire. Also, just as an honorable mention, I was into personality types as well for a good few years. I still am, and I still watch videos and stuff, like they're super fun, but at the same time, I'm liking astrology so much more. I know they're not the same thing, but just in understanding who you are, what you're about, and all the different parts of yourself, it's so much more, it gets so much more specific, obviously, because it's not the same thing. And yes, I know about cognitive functions. I'm not an expert, but I know that personality typing is more than just doing the 16 personalities test. I know about cognitive functions and stuff, okay? It's gonna sound basic as fuck, but I'm an INFJ. So yeah, let's get on to the next section because this is already taking longer than I thought it would. So yeah, just a quick little bit about my current life and mental health situation, actually, because there are some notable things. So I've basically been depressed since I was 15 years old, barely survived high school with all that. You know, also I'm neurodivergent. You might ask, well, what kind of neurodivergent? Well, I feel like for me, the word neurodivergent is actually more accurate than just saying I'm autistic, ADHD, or gifted. I kind of resonate with a lot of aspects of the three. I actually do have an autism diagnosis, which, funny enough, I don't entirely agree with, or at least the way that they went about it is, the system sucks, man. The DSM is so freaking behind, but oh well. Yeah, I also have OCD. I more so resonate with Tourettic OCD, less of the obsessive part and more of the compulsive part. I've also developed some tick-like behaviors though in recent years. I don't want to say like I have tics or I have a tic disorder because I don't, but I do have things like that, and it's different than compulsions. It's notably different. So yeah, just to mention that. And also, for some context, I lost my job early 2020. You know what's up. Not too long after, somewhere in the year after, I got my autism diagnosis, and not my ADHD diagnosis, because that's a whole different story. But that lady was like, so yeah, I did lose my job at that time, and I have not had a job since. Because of my depression and my autism diagnosis, those kind of helped me to actually stay away from needing to get a job and needing to go to job interviews and stuff. Really grateful for that. Oh yeah, I went to university for 1 year. That was like fun, actually, really fun, but wasn't gonna last longer than that for reasons. Also, my physical health kind of sucks. No, I don't have any chronic illnesses or whatever, I'm just fat. Self-deprecating jokes. No, I'm actually not that fat. Especially if you look at me from the front, it's kind of fine. I mean, looking at my flubby arms right now, but okay. But look at it from the side and it's upsetting to me. So yeah, those ramblings aside, I really don't know if this is gonna be nice, even with a little editing here and there. Next, you know, like I said, we started with very juicy stuff, and now we're just chilling. Now we're just chilling over here. If you're still here, I really hope you're chilling. I'm just gonna talk about some of my hobbies and interests, including some that may or may not be controversial, but then again, anything is controversial to someone. So, first of all, pets. I like dogs. I like dogs a lot. I love dogs. I also like cats. I've been getting a little more familiar with the cat life. I have been very close to one cat in particular. It was our neighbor's cat. Sadly, he passed away some months ago. But yeah, he was a good boy. I think I had a dog. I don't know exactly what age I was. I was young because right now I'm 30, just so y'all know. And my dog eventually turned 14 14, almost 15. So that's the amount of time he was with us, and he was my little bro. He was a little bro. I don't have any siblings, but he was my little bro, and I loved him dearly. Okay, next in the hobbies and interests category. I love K-pop. That is also controversial to some. Yeah, so I love K-pop. I have loved K-pop ever since I was 14, 15. I also fell in love with South Korea. Absolutely, the Korean language. I love language learning. I have learned some Korean and Japanese throughout the years. My Korean's better. Well, I have some opinions about the direction that K-pop has been going in recent times, and I'm definitely not as I've also been on holiday to South Korea actually, just to Seoul. Oh yeah, I actually went to university for Korea studies. So other interests include singing, dancing, and acting. I went to theater school for quite a few years, from when I was 8 to 16, I think. That was a 1 day a week kind of thing, but it was pretty serious. It wasn't just a little club you went to. We had classes, we learned. I actually have an acting career of sorts. I have been on TV. Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. It's kind of upsetting that so far my acting career consists of what I was able to do when I was 9 and 10 years old. Wasn't great. Luckily, I was adorable. Yeah, I even in one of these several YouTube channel attempts that I have done throughout many years, I think the first one that I did was to sing K-pop covers. I will show you at the very least that I can kind of sing. I just kind of want to prove that to you. So I made you a tiny song, just for you guys. Me. Just kidding. I just want to, yeah, I want to tell you all about it if you want to. Yeah, if you want to, you can stay with me and step into something new. Me and you. Is that fun? Is that fun? Should I include that? I think I will. And I'm not gonna try again. Because perfectionism. Be damned. So next, I like gaming. I'm a gamer. My favorite games are Hollow Knight and Silksong. Can you tell I'm obsessed? Hollow Knight was my favorite game for a long time, and then Silksong came and it just immediately got... It's Silksong now. Like, is there even a question? It's personal opinion, of course. This is absolutely not a controversial one, but I love Slay the Princess. I'm actually not great with horror, but funny enough, I think horror is also such a good genre. More so in games than in movies for me. It's such a good genre to just get into the deep, dark stuff, you know, especially the psychology of people. And, you know, I don't like things that are just like super gross and bloody and gory all the time. I'm like, I will accept it to an extent if the rest of a game is really interesting. There are a lot of horror games that I have watched, or just games in general that I have watched playthroughs of. Some of those that I deem some of my favorite games, even though I haven't actually played them. Okay, slightly controversial again. One of my favorite game series, Danganronpa, or Danganronpa, however you want to say it. I find Danganronpa fun. I don't even know if it's correct. Yeah, some people are like, ew. That game is weird and maybe even problematic. And I'm like, it's the best fucking thing ever. I love it so much. I love it so much. It's weird. And it's not a perfect game series. It is not. But God, is it enjoyable. Corpse Party, also, not sure if that's controversial. Once again, a horror game. I have never played it, I've only watched it, but it's that first game, it's one of my favorites, man. Just some other favorites to quickly mention. The Cat Lady, The Last of Us, Uncharted, totally. I also, by the way, I haven't played The Cat Lady, that was just watching. Hogwarts Legacy. Cyberpunk is also cool. Cyberpunk 2077, if I'm saying it correctly. I have not finished it though. I have not finished it. I've played a good chunk of it. I don't know how far I am, but that one really surprised me. It's a little intense though, so don't know when I'm gonna get back into that. Yeah, so next thing, YouTube. Really, YouTube is actually so important to me. I have gotten so much of my enjoyment and learning throughout the years through YouTube. Yeah, specifically, I've watched a lot of gaming channels, you know, gaming playthroughs. You know, if there's one name in particular, in terms of YouTube channels that I've watched the most out of anything and everything on YouTube, it's gonna be Game Grumps. It's gonna be Game Grumps. There was a few years in time where I didn't really resonate with them, or, you know, I was just on a different frequency at the time, and so, but I came back to it. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into everything that I watch on YouTube because it's so much and so many different things, like we'd be here all day. Next interest, anime. I actually feel kind of like a fake fan because in terms of quantity, I haven't watched a lot of anime. And I've got a long list. I've had friends back in the day recommend me stuff. Oh, you should really watch this one. And I'm like, yeah. And then the hyper-focus went to something else and I just didn't quite commit. My absolute favorite is Vampire Knight. That is also mildly controversial to some people because I've heard a lot of people are apparently like, ew, I used to love this when I was like 10, but now I'm like, ew. I'm not like, ew, I still love it. It's literally what inspired me to write my own story, but I'll get to that. Seven Deadly Sins, also controversial to some people. Like, I genuinely do care about stories and storytelling and the quality of stories, but you know, sometimes you just really enjoy something, even if it doesn't quite make sense. I don't know if it makes sense, but I loved Seven Deadly Sins. I did kind of binge it, so I could look back at it and maybe be like, oh yeah, that was a little, but I loved the experience. Frieren. I've only watched season 1. I actually don't know if season 2 is already available over here, but loved that one. But most people love that one. Lost Song is a special mention. Also a short little series, but that one, oof, that one hit me. That one hit me right in the kokoro, you know? That was a special one too. And a basically universally loved one, I think, is Silent Voice. Beautiful. That was a beautiful one. Similar to last topic, movies and TV. I love movies since very early on in my life. A little later in my life, I got into TV series more. I mean, yes, back in the day when I was younger, we used to, you know, just during dinner, we used to watch Friends episodes, you know, Big Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men, stuff like that. But I wouldn't say that I was into TV shows at the time. There's just so little that really resonates anymore. Like back in the day, I had so much fun with so many different movies, but nowadays, am I constantly looking for new stuff? No, I will admit that, but I also know that the way my life usually goes, I just run into things that just happen to resonate. A few special mentions would be Dark Crystal, the series. I think that's a particularly fun one because it's basically a documentary, if we're talking about conspiracy theories and everything. There's some interesting stuff in there, even just the first episode. Quite a bit of exposure in that one. I mean, that is what movies and TV shows are really good for these days. You know, ever since 2020, I don't just watch movies anymore. I watch movies. I'm like, what symbolism is in there? What are they exposing? What lies are in there that they're perpetuating? What's the propaganda? All of that stuff. So that's why it is still interesting. And I do listen to a lot of story analysis on YouTube as well. But yeah, Dark Crystal is a very interesting one. Very sad that they discontinued that, but oh well, what do you do? Arcane, just as a special mention, because Arcane season 1, oh, gorgeous. I would have probably called it my favorite show ever, ever, if it would have just been season 1. And this is also a controversial opinion, but Arcane season 2 was not good. It was not good, it was bad, it was very bad. It does a pretty good job at pretending it's good and kind of cutting away before you start thinking about it for too long. And I didn't even notice all the things. There was just a lot. I had so much hope. I had so much hope for that show. And I held on to that hope for 6 out of 9 episodes. Another specific one, How to Train Your Dragon. Love that movie series. Absolutely lovely. And no, not just the first one, all 3 of them. Lovely, amazing. One important movie actually in recent times that are kind of, you know, shattering the idea of what movies are or what they should be, Hollywood style, is Iron Lung. I watched it several times already. I went to movie theaters for it. Okay, almost there, almost there. Last interest that I wrote down was writing and reading. I have been writing a story, trying to, since I was 13. Just as a refresher, I am 30 now. It's so important to me, and I think it's also just such a way to creatively work through a lot of my emotional stuff and trauma stuff and past life stuff even. Yeah, I still adore it. I doubt myself a lot as a writer, but I go through phases with all of that. And one day I'm going to publish them. One day I'm going to somehow share them with the world. And I just want them to be good when that happens. Also, just a little side note about me and reading. Another reason why I feel like such a fraud is because I barely read books. School just kind of ruined reading for me. And because school just ended up being so stressful and depressing and all that, that my brain just associated reading, especially the reading of physical books, with that environment and with me feeling that way. So I actually have a bit of a trauma response to reading now. Yeah, that was basically everything. I just really hope that putting myself out there, you know, I just really hope that this video is my lighthouse that allows people to find me. I want my tribe. Everyone has a tribe. And I want to find mine. It's time. You know, y'all might be just like me, sitting here kind of in the dark and hiding in your little cave, kind of waiting for the moment to come out, waiting for the moment to expose yourself, to step into the light. And I guess that's it. If you made it this far, definitely, please, if you feel like it, leave a comment. If you think you're one of my people, so leave a comment if you want. I will also put a email address, specific email address, in the description somewhere, I think, so that if maybe there's something really personal you want to share, or you just want to make sure the message gets to me, or for whatever reason you don't want to write it in a comment, there is this email address that you can send a little message to. So do whatever feels right, do whatever resonates. And like I said, if you're still here, welcome. And I hope we can have a great time together. Bye-bye.